Welcome, friends, and welcome, citizens of 1994. Welcome back to Sunday Cinematic Service. My name's Chris, and I'm joined by my colleagues Heath and Marcus.
Hello, Marcus here.
As we explore this strange and bizarre wilderness of religious and faith-based cinema. And today, we are analysing a film which is beloved to all of us here. One of my all-time favourite So Bad It's Good films, The Apple, from 1980. The film was directed by Menahem Golan and features multiple rip-offs of some of the most popular musicals ever made.
Yeah.
It's a dystopian science fiction tale. It's the tragic story of love being torn apart by consumerist ideology, the evils of the music industry, and at the heart, it's the tale of that first sin, the original sin, the apple, that was taken by Eve, as represented in the film by the character Bibi, who is sucked into the world of the music industry by Mr. Boogaloo, head of Boogaloo Industries, and the strife that Bibi's ex-lover, former musical partner...
It's not really clear.
It's not really clear. Sister, brother...
Yeah, I don't know.
No one
They have
knows.
a very asexual relationship.
Up until a point, and then they have a child.
A very big child. I actually can't remember what the
Archie, Andy. It's an A name.
Alfie.
Alfie, yeah. As we see their relationship torn apart by the evils of the music industry. And yeah, I mean, oddly, it's also a metaphorical take on the Bible, on the story of Adam and Eve. So, I love this film. It's absolutely terrible, but I love it. Pretty much every single little thing in it. We watched it for the first time a few years ago.
2 or 3.
2 or 3. Yeah, 2 or 3.
Well, you were in Murfield, so when was that bit then?
That was like 2005, I think.
2005?
2015. I was in Murfield 2005, but 2015, yeah.
Yeah,
And,
let's call it that.
We were all ready to shut the film off,
Mm-hmm.
and then something happened, and you just get sucked into the world of the apple. It's beautiful. So you're the most relative newcomer here, Heath, to the apple. What do you think of it?
See, I don't think it's as terrible as people make out. Yeah, it's bad. I was first introduced to the Apple completely separate to you guys. It was I like bad films, so bad they're good films. So and so I seek them out, and I'd heard about the Apple in different spheres of that, but I'd never seen it. But from what everyone was saying, it was like the most terrible musical ever and that sort of thing. But I personally think that it has its sort of charms and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And while it's not very well executed, it does have some very good points to it. But yeah, when I first went in to see it, I thought it would just be a train wreck, like an absolute train wreck. But then when I sort of saw it, I was like, oh no, actually there are some elements to this that are actually quite good. What do you think, Marcus?
Well, I'll sort of be the mediator here. So, I also like bad films. Mainly bad films which are bad with no recommendation. Like Woody Allen's Wonder Wheel. Boring bad films instead of your So Bad It's Good film. But no, so I think the film has got enough elements to keep it, it's not badly made. Well, there's bad directorial choices.
Yeah.
But, there's enough money pumped into it where it's got big sets and sort of grandiose ideas kind of behind it. But I think the reason why it's sort of so watchable is it's somebody who seems deeply pretentious and trying to do something beyond, their ability.
Yeah.
So Golan, he's an exploitation filmmaker, essentially. Golan. He made this is for, one of the first canon films.
Yes,
He would go on to do stuff like Breaking 2, Electric Boogaloo, Masters of the Universe.
Yeah. Superman 4.
Yep.
Yeah.
And to be fair on them, they did also produce RoboCop and the Terminator.
Did they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
To be fair on them, they're like the upper echelons of canon films. So, yeah, they are mostly an exploitation company. Or they were an exploitation company.
But I think they're from that classic branch of an exploitation film now would be shot on cheap digital It'd be done probably a lot quicker than the Apple was. It wouldn't have had a 10 million then. You're probably looking at about 20 or 30 now.
Yeah.
Like, this is high budget stuff made to appeal. It is just ripping off things from, from the time.
More popular musicals from the time, like the
Yeah.
Jesus Christ Superstar, Rocky Horror Picture Show,
Grease.
Grease, yeah.
There's Saturday Night Fever as well. I think
Yeah.
we can see some influences there.
Yeah.
And I think the reason why this is so bad it's good, as opposed to something like The Room, where it's just badly made and like there's laughable like performances and stuff, is like it's the the ideas being out of the grasp of the filmmaker.
Yeah.
Like the storytelling is bizarrely awful. Because you've got the first half where like BIM is just a music industry that's like all powerful, so it's trying to be that. Then about halfway through, it randomly switches to being a dystopian future where BIM runs America.
Mr. Boogaloo's like the president. Yeah.
And I love the random details. Like there's like apparently 1 billion people in America now.
Yeah.
And that just like how could the population increase by that size by that just things like that, like the random details that make no sense that they add. The actors in it are like milquetoast, but I don't think they're like actively bad.
No.
I think except for Alfie.
He's just bland.
I think he's
But
bad.
I think that's the point.
Yeah,
I think he's supposed to be like the most bland, uninteresting person ever.
He's the everyman.
Yeah.
Yeah. The singing is, to put it mildly, not powerful.
It waxes and wanes, I'll say. Like, there's some of it which is just terrible.
Yeah.
And some of it which isn't that bad. Like, I still, like, I was saying that Speed is my favourite song in that. And I think the girl who sings that, she does a good job in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then she sings a song later on down the
Like a
line.
ballad, yeah.
Yeah, ballad, and it's just awful. Like,
Yeah. Because I think there is like a distinction between like singing that is technically good and then someone who's just got like and good energy about them.
Yeah.
It's like it's either Rock, and when the Rock sings in Moana, like technically he's not a good singer at all, but he's got so much energy and verve to him that he helps to sell the song. And I feel that with a lot of the performance in this film. Well, not a lot of them. A few of them. A few of them have energy to them. Like the guy who plays Mr. Boogaloo. Like I don't think he's a natural. He ain't a natural singer.
No,
but
no.
you can tell he's loving it.
He's
like,
so good.
He's so good. Like he's loving it.
He's giving like Nicolas Cage or Walken style performance in this.
Yeah.
Like, just he knows what film he's
He
in.
knows, he knows what he's in. Yeah.
But you can tell the difference between like a puppet on a string and like how much like energy is in that compared to I'm coming.
Oh god.
Coming for you. It's like that though, isn't it? The way
Yeah,
she sings.
It's so bad. It's
It's like
Well, yeah, she's trying to do. Obviously, she's trying to do that sort of, breathy sort of femme fatale like type of thing in her singing, which is it just doesn't work.
no.
I think, and it probably comes down to as well, I think, whoever plays Mr. Boogaloo is
He's got like Vladek, I think.
he has a lot more fun songs.
Definitely.
His
And
reggae rip-off.
His faux reggae song. Yeah.
And it actually also does sort of point to one of the other big problems with this is that the way that the songs come in on the thing, so they will have like a slow, fast-paced, high-energy song, then a slow song.
Yeah.
Fast-paced, high-energy, slow song. And, it's just up and down, and the slow songs just grind the film to a halt. Like they're just they're not very good. The slow songs. I think every fast-paced song in this is like a banger. Like,
it's good fun. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But every slow song is just awful.
Because one that I always kind of compare it to is I think it is trying to go for the energy and like the style of like Rocky Horror Picture Show, like the transgressive nature of like Rocky Horror. Like I think it tries to go for that kind of energy and like everyone's sleeping with everybody kind of thing, but it just falls flat on its ass constantly. Yeah, as you say, because like in Rocky Horror you've kind of got the high speed energy of all the songs and it just builds and builds and builds and builds. And when there's a slow song, there's a reason for it. You know what I mean? It's paced properly, like a real musical. Like ain't no one going to be spending £50 a ticket to go see the Apple on stage. You know what I mean? Like on West End or.
I would be interested in that though.
I'd see it, to be honest. I'd go.
Like if it was reworked slightly.
Yeah, slightly
Yeah. You know, as much as I'm loath to get rid of it, the master song. Maybe rework that song to actually, you know, sort of indicate Boogaloo's rise to power. And how he seemingly becomes from the CEO of a company to some sort of like weird dictator of the whole country. Like that would be nice.
Yeah,
you could do that in song form.
Some connective narrative tissue.
Yeah,
just something. Yeah, because like with good musicals, you get to the halfway point and you'll do like kind of what I call like the montage song. You know, like in Les Mis, it's One Day More, which connects all the characters together. You know, you subtending where all the characters are, where you are in the plot. Maybe replace Mr. Boogaloo's song with something like that. Yeah, you know, or even as you say, even rework Master into being like, I am now the Master. You know what I mean? Like, something, anything. I mean, I love the song, but like,
I don't know. Well, I don't know whether you would find another performer who'd bring the energy that he brings to that. So, it might be best to just get rid of it and
just cut it.
Yeah.
Well, I think you get to one of the sort of problems with the film in what you were saying about the transgressive nature of Rocky Horror compared to this. Like, this is a deeply, blandly, like, just no sexuality to this film at all. Like,
no.
It's passionless, kind of like, you have like people who are like vaguely attractive, just like looking at each other and like the song "I'm Coming," like that, like it cuts away during the sex to like just people in a bedroom. Like wearing like a the men are wearing like thongs essentially, and the women are wearing like it's just bras and thongs again. And they do like interpretive dance numbers and stuff. I'm not saying it should have hardcore penetrative sex in it. But there should be some feeling of like arousal to the film.
there's it's the way that they dance in that sort of scene, like, and the way it's shot as well. So it's a very wide shot. Everything's there, and then the way that they dance in it is very mechanical, and there's no sort of sexuality to it or any like it is a lot of sort of
waving hands.
Oh, it's not not in that scene. It's not waving hands. It's sort of almost acrobatic. Sort of the way that they dance.
So falling over each other and being stuff.
And like a lot of sort of straight lines. There's not a lot of sort of what you would expect. Like if you talk about like say Dirty Dancing. I don't know whether you've ever seen Dirty Dancing, but in the scene where Baby is first introduced to this other world, you've got these people sort of grinding up against each other. It's very sexual, and it sort of foreshadows her sexual awakening and stuff like that. This is just like the most sort of dry and like it's like I suppose the equivalent of like missionary style sex. Like
And I was going to compare it to like the energy of like the orgy scene at the end of Rocky Horror, where like it's just oozing like sexuality, and like I do feel that the Apple is trying to reach that level, but it doesn't. Yeah, as you say, it doesn't ultimately know how.
Well, I think another problem and all is like the aesthetic of the film and the style. Like, a good musical should feel like the camera's involved in it in some way.
Yeah.
It's similar to, Martin Scorsese, when he made Raging Bull, described the boxing scenes as like a musical, because he wanted it to be like a dance with the boxer in that. And that's how a musical should feel. It should feel like the camera's like dancing with the people involved, like another participant.
Well, but
this is literally just stick the camera far away so we can see everyone.
But the one I always use an example of is, whatever you think of the film, Moulin Rouge is masterfully edited to match the energy of the music. Like, it is so perfect in terms of like getting those cuts to match the beats of the songs, and he knows when to take things slowly, he knows when to do the high energy stuff, and I just hate what I hate the Apple is just the editing and the way it's shot. It's all so far away. So I get you want to see your performers doing the dancing, you want to capture that.
Yeah.
But there's more exciting ways of doing it.
It's very basic film. Like it's how you would normally film like a dialogue scene.
Yeah.
So you'd have your master shot, and then basically you then have close-ups.
Yeah.
And you cut to the close-ups and then back to the master, close-up, master, close-up. And that's it.
Yeah.
And so there's not any sort of movement of the camera from like one. So you'll have like someone like if you're talking about the Apple scene, the Apple song, you know. So he comes down the steps. The guy, I don't know what he's who's the
Roger Daltrey
Mandy
from
Dandy and Dandy.
yeah
Oh,
Dandy.
that's it, yeah.
Dandy comes down the he comes along the sort of master shot, and then he goes back up to the thing. And rather than the camera following him through, he goes across the frame, and then he sort of goes up, and then you've got a new master shot of him up on the thing. And it's like there's just no movement in the camera, and the, you know, that's obviously the sort of, you know, that's a very like, especially if you're making something like this, it is the most economical way to do it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Because and that's what they, you know, and that's what the
It is
Canon
canon,
films
that's what they're all
is
about.
built on is the doing these films in the most economical way possible.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
It's the you know, the modern equivalent is like Blumhouse, like
Yeah.
you know, I don't think they spend more than 10 million on a film. And,
No.
So,
Cheap and cheerful, and yeah, gets to the point.
Bob Fosse, this ain't. Is it Fosse?
Fosse.
Fosse.
Yeah.
I think they've got enough of the jazz hands in there.
Oh, right, yeah.
I think it's very there isn't a lot of imagination in the choreography.
The people here do not feel like professional dancers, even though I think some of them are.
I think a lot of them
I
are
think they are,
professional
definitely,
dancers. I think that they weren't given very good choreography, and I think in some cases they may have just been told do whatever, improvise,
do whatever, yeah. I think you most see it in the I can't remember what the song's called, but like, you know, the 1994.
Life is but a business, that one.
Yeah, 1990. And there's that awful like master shot, and all you can see how empty the frame is. Like, you know, you want it filled. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want to get the high energy going. You want to see how many performers are around. There's like a dozen or so, or maybe 24 dancers, and you just don't get the effect. Yeah, as you say, you feel like there's no thought about the placement or the coordination of any of the dancers and the performers. And again, you compare it to something like Time Warp, which is like a really anarchic song, and it is crazy, but there is a structure to it. You know what I mean? Like they're placed where they are for certain, you know, reasons to get the full impact of
and you actually
song.
like, and as well though, you know, if you look at Time Warp and that sort of thing, it has the master shot. You have your master shot.
Yep.
And then it does go to sort of like different parts and that sort of thing, like close-ups of or mid shots of different parts going on. But then you also have like that where they're all like, you know, doing sort of like a cartwheel sort of dance move, and the camera just sort of sweeps down past everyone. It's like, that's all it needs is just a little bit of camera movement, like, because there's not a terrible lot in Time Warp. A lot of camera movement and that sort of thing. But it's got enough in it that it sort of makes it more exciting and visually appealing.
Well, I'm sure Rocky Horror is a cheaper film than this. Well, it must be. If you think of Rocky Horror, it's all sets. This has got outdoor. You know, this has got more locations in it than Rocky Horror does, as well. Like you can, I think that like Rocky Horror is obviously a far better film with much better. It does more with the money it's got, but like this film, I bet cost at least twice as much as Rocky Horror.
This one cost $10 million.
Yeah, Rocky Horror is.
I don't know.
I'm gonna go. My guess is 1.5. What would your guess be? The budget for Rocky Horror.
I'm saying 2.
Okay. Do you want to have a guess before you have a look, Heath? Or?
I'm still. What did you say?
I said 2.
What did you say?
1.5.
It's $1.2 million.
Wow.
So almost a tenth of the budget. Of the Apple.
Yeah, and it feels like a much bigger and more engrossing film. And
No, it was made 5 years before. You know.
Yeah.
Adjusting for inflation,
Sure.
1.3 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we've talked a lot about it as a musical. Let's talk about it as a sci-fi film. What does everyone think? We've discussed it's got some problems as a musical. What do you think of it as a dystopian sci-fi film? How is 1994 presented?
Horribly.
Yeah, really badly.
I wouldn't like. I think, and I was talking about it when we were watching it. Is I think the best representation of how awful this is the BIM hour thing where they have to do their exercises, and everyone has to stop everything, and it's just this one repetitive song, and it goes on for about 2 or 3 minutes in the film.
Yeah,
it's a full length song. Just going hey hey hey, whoever it is.
Hey hey.
Bim's on the way.
But then,
it seems to have already arrived as well at this point. Like, so you're quite frank. But anyway, go.
If you think so, let's say it's 3 minutes. It's an hour, so it's 20 times longer than that. Like, just imagine that. Just that one aspect alone. That for one whole hour
of every day.
And there's no escape from it. Like, it's terrifying and awful.
Orwell didn't come up with that, did he?
Yeah. Fucking Orwell's a hack.
It's atrocious. I mean, the only thing to really show it is the future. They have a monorail.
Oh, and no, they have boobs on their cars.
Oh yeah. Every single vehicle has a boob on top to show that it's a future vehicle.
Exactly. Like everyone gets like the most fancy car is a gold station wagon with like 2 domes on the top and like a huge spoiler on the back of it for some unknown reason.
And that shows that it's from the future.
Yeah.
Like it's brilliant set design, but it's brilliant prop design. That.
Oh Jesus Christ!
I mean, that was the funniest thing that we found when we first watched it. Was that halfway through it decides that we're now a dystopian science fiction story. It's like you can't do that.
But maybe a more successful film could have done a time jump.
Sure.
Or with a montage to explain like what happened in the interim. It would
Exactly,
have been corny and cheesy or something like that.
This is the thing, like, in this, there is obviously a progression of time that occurs. Like, because, like, you know, BB goes from this unknown to the biggest star, and she sings one song and goes from the... But we're led to believe that there is some sort of
maybe she finally had that album they sold before making it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But you know, there's that. So you sort of there is this idea that there has been at least a few months have passed.
Yes.
Between during that song. And then but it's so muddled, like how there's no sort of indication really of how much time has passed.
Yeah,
you kind of can only just assume by how things would naturally work how much time had passed. Like, so her going from unknown singer to biggest singer in the world, that's gonna take a few months. All right, so that's how much time has passed.
Yes,
she leaves Bim and goes to a cave with an old man. In the interim, Alfie grows a beard and has a gigantic child.
Who's 1 year old,
Yeah, who's apparently 1 year old.
Well, no, he must be younger though, because she's only been there for a year.
Oh yeah.
No, they say she's been living here for over a year.
But that means less than 2 then, I suppose.
Yeah.
So that means that she must have had it, for 9 months.
Yeah.
So I suppose theoretically it could be...
Alfie got straight out of the bachelor corner.
Straight
out of the bachelor corner, straight into BB.
Oh, yeah.
From this freewheeling society, they still do have strict rules on what a man can be, and Oh.
Well, the portrayal as well of this future hellscape is that the song Speed, is that supposed to be the new anthem of the BIM generation? Because it would be interesting if they did the songs that BB was told to sing were mind control or something.
Yeah.
And then you could integrate the musical elements into the dystopian sci-fi stuff, good storytelling.
I think the point of that was that it's showing how much society is degraded under this new world order, if you will. That they openly sing about drug abuse and that sort of thing, and it's no big thing, and everyone's into popping pills and drinking out of vases and that sort of thing.
The triangle shaped cups. Yeah.
But there's no difference though. Later in the film, it still shows BIM as being the problem with the film is it only ever shows stuff from within BIM, the BIM headquarters.
Yeah.
Not not even a montage of like society decaying outside of that.
Well, that's the BIM hour.
The
Yeah,
BIM
the
hour,
hour,
yeah.
But you don't see anything before the BIM hour of the
Because
outside
really,
world.
really,
so you don't
I
get to see them take control and make everyone, become
yeah,
more like.
they should have done that during Speed.
Yeah,
They
showing
should have
people taking pills
intercut
and
it,
stuff,
and showing Bim like raising like a massive new tower or something. Mr. Boogaloo like laughing while money falling down from the ceiling, and something visual like intercut with Speed to show like their rise to power. That's how you should have done it, I think.
Yeah.
Well,
definitely.
I covered this again with the Master Song as well. It's like there just needs to be something in there that shows, how it got from point A to point B.
Yeah.
Like, that's all it needs. Well, it needs a few other things. But...
Better songs, better actors.
All right. Well, let's talk about the
religion in the film.
No, I was gonna say let's talk about the sexy elephant in the room, or the not so sexy elephant in the room. The amount of sexual assault that goes on in this film.
Hashtag me too. Yeah, there's lots of troubling sexual assault in this film. There definitely is.
Well, you've got Alfie who's sexually assaults Miriam Margolyes just very casually, just grabs her breasts and plays with them. And he's supposed to be the good guy.
Yeah. I bet he himself is in turn raped by what's he called?
Bambi. Isn't it Dandy?
Pandy.
Pandy.
Yeah. Pandy pretty much date rapes poor Alfie, and it's.
Well, that's showing the cyclical nature of abuse. That as he abuses, he is abused himself.
Oh, it's beautiful, and then BB goes for a walk and gets taken into a cave by an old homeless man.
Well, as we were saying, that would be the perfect time to reprise the "I'm coming" song.
Yeah.
I'm coming.
Coming for you.
Oh, it's harder and tighter. You'll feel every inch of my love.
Oh no.
But that would imply though that the film had more sexuality than it does.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
It's a deeply odd film.
Which is crazy for a film that was so much pizzazz and glitter to it. Like, it is so sexless,
Well,
what I mean?
the idea of sex in this film is just people dressed skimpily,
Yeah.
And everyone looks too, clean cut as well. Like, no one in this film looks to be any, they don't look to have had a hard life at any point or anything. It's all a bunch of Janets. There's no Tim Currys in the film. You look at
Janets and Brads, yeah.
You look at Tim Curry, he's got some personality to him.
Yeah.
Does Roger Daltrey's look like he's ever
Roger Daltrey in the fog, yeah.
Does he look like he's ever done anything cool in his life? No.
Definitely not, no. Like the real Roger Daltrey.
Like the real Roger Daltrey, the lame one of the
Who. You using that comparison though? I would have said the Frankenfurter character is Boogaloo.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That guy looks like he fucks though. He looks cool.
He looks like a sexual deviant.
The problem is though he doesn't have a place of sexuality within the film.
Yeah.
Which, to be honest, would have been a bit creepy if he was walking up to her.
I fucking love it.
Give it to me. Coming just for you.
Give it to me, Daddy.
Tighter and harder and faster.
Every inch of my love. Because it's good to be a master.
Yeah, there you go.
See, that would have been good, integrating the two songs.
Yeah, there you go.
But okay, who's the dandy character in Rocky Horror then?
Well, I think probably those two. He's trying to be like Riff Raff and
Columbia.
And Columbia, yeah, definitely, yeah.
But them two, Richard O'Brien, not an attractive man, I'd say.
No.
But he looks like he's had a life though. He looks like he's lived.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And I think the guy who has the diamond encrusted teeth and is like the snake. Yeah. I think that's going to be the third one. What's she called? You know who I mean, don't you?
Yeah.
I just want to say about that.
Magenta, that's it. Yeah, he is definitely going to be the magenta as well.
That actor is terrible.
He is bad.
Yeah.
He is bad.
He is playing in a totally different key from everyone. I've got to admit though, he works beautifully off Boogaloo.
Definitely, yeah.
Like them two, whenever they're on screen together, it's like, I don't know, De Niro hit Pacino in Heat or something. Just the sparks fly. And yeah, his makeup as a snake as well.
Yeah,
top quality.
Yeah.
Top banana.
Is his name actually Snake in that?
I bet if you typed in the Apple Snake.
Yeah, no, it is Snake.
Is it?
All right.
Oh no, Shake is his name.
Oh,
Sorry,
Shake.
Oh, Shake Snake. That's
Yeah.
very clever.
Yeah.
See what I did there, yeah.
Yeah, because there were a couple of times where I thought they called him Snake,
Ah.
but well, they could have kept that.
You could have done, yeah.
They could have just called him Snake. It
Yeah.
would have been fine.
Mm.
Like,
It's not exactly a subtle film, so like,
Exactly.
it's fine.
you know, it would have been fine. But like, there are a couple of points in it. Like, this is the thing. There are points in it where you can see Golan was trying. Like, like there are bits where Shake, who is the snake, there's bits where he's like, wearing like snakeskin coats and stuff like that, and you're like, okay, I can see, like, you're trying for this through line, but he never quite like sort of.
It never lands.
Yeah, it never quite lands, and I think that's one of the other major problems with this, is like, you can see where he's tried, he's just not put in that like little bit of extra effort to like get it across the line.
Well, I think he's got a definite problem where he wants to do very ambitious stuff, but he doesn't know how to make a musical. That's very clear from watching it. And he is just obviously a deeply cheap man.
Yeah, definitely.
Who just probably would not, if someone came up to him and go, look, the best way to do this is we shoot it in, a tracking shot, he'll go, or do we have to buy a track then? And someone will say, yeah, and he'll go, no, why?
Well, you see, apparently it was actually the opposite of that. I was reading that pretty much Golan pretty much co-opted this production. Like, basically these two producers had a vision for this film. They made like 17 demos, and apparently Golan was their choice of director after a positive meeting.
Okay.
And he's the one who actually overrun the production costs. And the budget actually doubled over the course of making the film. So he was the one who was pushing for more. While these guys were like, we've already spent $6 million, and now you want to say we want to spend $8 million? Now it's $10 million? Like, let's stop there.
I'm glad he got his way, though.
Yeah.
Like, this is why I think it's such a good, bad film. Because, it's just so pretentious and has so much going on that it's trying to do. Like, it is more ambitious than most films that you see, because it's trying to be a religious allegory and a dystopian future and a music. There's not even a reason why this is a musical, really. Like, you could do everything in this in, like, story terms. It would be boring, but it wouldn't be like...
Yeah, well, I think that's the point of why it's a musical.
Yeah, because it's such a dull idea.
Not a lot ultimately happens in The Apple, basically.
Well, we've spent half an hour avoiding the topic. What does this film have to say about religion as an ostensibly religious podcast? Let's go into it.
Well, it doesn't really say a lot about religion. It is just a allegory. Like, that's it. It doesn't take any sort of stance on like religion in general.
Yeah.
Obviously, God is good.
Mr. Tops is good.
Mr. Tops comes along and he's
spoiler alert about the ending.
Yeah. Mr. Tops comes along in his flying Rolls Royce, and just magics his way out of it, and then walks onto the scene, picks up all the hippies and fucks off. Takes Pandy as well. Pandy is saved.
She's reformed,
which is nice.
Apparently, you can rape whoever you want. As long as you show some. I'm sure that was very comforting for the producers of the film, like that message.
Definitely, yeah. Well, it's a little bit like with Mother.
Oh, yeah.
It's like it's allegorical for the Bible. Okay, like to what end? Like, okay, you've recreated Bible stories in this like human drama film. Like, okay.
The end is to show that the modern music industry is as decadent as Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah.
Well, when we were watching it as well, though, I was saying that it kind of does show that because in the end, Tops comes down, gets all the things, and he's like, "I'm going to start another planet," and Boogaloo's like, "Well, fair enough," and he's like, "You won't be there," and he's like, "But I exist everywhere," and Tops is like, "Well, we'll see." But basically, it shows that God cannot defeat evil. Essentially,
Yeah.
He all he can do It's collect up the faithful and take them elsewhere. That is the extent of his power.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I've just thought now another problem with the film is that, like, with the apple, Adam and Eve, it's obviously a utopia that's corrupted by human desire and want. So they each eats the apple, ruins the utopia for them. Now there is no portrayal of a utopia in this film at the beginning for it to be corrupted from. To be honest, BB's life probably. I would rather have her life in BIM, to be honest.
I suppose that we're supposed to see with that first song that they sing is that this idea of sort of simple, human connection is much more. It's much better than
manufactured crap.
Yeah, manufactured crap, and that is ultimately ruined by the purveyors of this crap. It's when we were talking about it, I think it's a deeply anti-capitalist film. To be weirdly,
weirdly anti-capitalist.
Yeah. But that is always a really weird through thread, in a lot of musicals, where they're never going to appeal to a certain kind of more middle class audience, and they want to appear to be all radical and down with the system, but ultimately it does come back to a more conservative mode of thinking. You think about Les Mis, so about the rise of a working class, but ultimately it does return back to a form of the status quo.
Yeah.
I think about Rent as well. Rent, to bring up another terrible musical, but Rent's far worse than this film, I think.
Yeah. Well, this film is fun.
Yeah. Rent is genuinely insidious. But yeah, so you've got these people who all appear to be all countercultural, but at the end of the day, they come back to a form of status quo. Yeah, so that's fairly in keeping, to be honest, of just musicals in general. But yeah, you're right. It is weirdly anti-capitalist.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say not the best critique of capitalism I've ever seen. I've seen stronger films that deal with the subject matter in different ways.
Yeah. No, look, I agree, but I think it is something that is it's something that you can't miss out of the film. That's It's at the forefront. It's not like something that's, you have to look deep into the film to get that it's...
Well, yeah, the end of the film and the sort of rehabilitation of BB is a return to nature kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's, the anti, the corporate crap that... Another problem with the film is that song is so terrible, the universal melody.
Yeah, it's awful.
It's the most saccharine crap ever, but it's supposed to be. I think we're supposed to feel that this is a return to nature for I think the problem in all is that the Alfie character never gets corrupted himself. It's just. Well, I suppose though that is similar to the Bible. It's Eve who brings about the.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, he doesn't. He doesn't get corrupted
except for sexually assaulting a lady. But
Oh wait. Oh yeah. Yeah. Sexually assaulting his landlord.
Except for that.
Yeah. Except for that. But. Yeah, I think that it is that sort of idea of this sort of communal lifestyle is much more it's better representation of how we should live life rather than this corporate capitalist dystopia. So it's something it is there in the text of the film, but I don't know why it's there. It doesn't.
Maybe that's what Golem thinks as well. Well, obviously not, since Canon Films is just a big money making machine as well.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be a much more interesting film if Tops was a rival because he just turns up at the end,
literally from the sky.
Just out of nowhere, drops out of the sky. It would have been much more interesting if he was mentioned somewhere in the beginning, maybe as a rival to Boogaloo. But nope, he just comes out of nowhere, picks up the hippies, fucks off.
Well, it's ultimately a damning portrayal of anti-capitalism and all, because they don't even try and reform the system; they just run away and start their own rival one.
Well, yeah, it's it's a damning thing of anti-capitalism. It's a damning thing on God, because it's the same thing. He just turns up. It's like, can't compete. Fuck off. We're out of here. We're off to another planet.
Well, what happened in 1980? Reagan became the president. Are we trying to say this film was inspired by that to be like, well, we can't win, we must find out
Maybe, yeah.
utopia, yeah.
Maybe it is saying to people, it's like, you either live in this society or you can piss off. I'll love it or leave it.
Yeah. But yeah, it's very Fingal in terms of religious content, basically.
Yeah, no.
As you were saying, it's mother style allegory for no reason.
Yeah.
And yeah, a very poor allegory as well. Because in the Bible, I'm assuming the fall after when they actually get kicked out of like the corruption is well that in the actual story itself, from my is like a smaller than the actual bit where they're in the utopia in Eden.
What?
Right, Eden. No, what am I talking about?
Yeah,
they basically the main set of the story is Eden, and then they take the apple, then they're cast out.
Yeah,
and then they spend the rest of the time in. But most of the story is set in Eden. Like the basis
like
of the
that
story.
I know, obviously, the rest of the Bible is what's happened afterwards.
Yeah. I was just wondering where you were getting with that.
No, but I mean, like, this film is just, because there's no portrayal of anything before she eats the apple. Really,
yeah, but there is no Eden that they're there.
Wouldn't it have been better if it opened like them two, just in his shitty, flat, and then, just having a nice...
Oh, maybe living in, Moose Jaw, Canada, or whatever it's called.
Yeah, Moose Jaw, yeah.
Well, that's weird. And why is he suddenly living in wherever the film is set rather than Moose Jaw, Canada, if he's...
Well, that's where they have to be to try and make it.
Yeah.
Like he's not. Alfie's not against making it in the music industry. He's just against what BIM's all about.
Yeah.
Well, that's so weird though, and all because if he's such a threat at the beginning to them that they can't win the Eurovision style contest, they have to blare out the loud sound. Why are they allowing him to continue making music? He gets the ability to record in front of those people when BIM seemingly runs the world. How powerful is this BIM?
He's very powerful. Well, he's running everything, but they don't get anywhere. Essentially, the point of it is though that BIM wants both of them because they're popular.
Yeah.
All right. So BIM's not going to just shut down any up and comers. Coming through. He wants to know about them so then he can co-opt them into his brand.
Yeah.
So it's not as, so obviously he's still going to be auditions and stuff like that. It's not...
But it seems a flawed concept though, because he gets BB and then just suddenly turns her into exactly the same as anyone else. She's just forced to do the Speed song. So did he co-opt her and try and do Alfie to get rid of the competition, or to try and integrate some elements of them into his thing to make it more popular? Or he seems to run the country like his record company is run by some form of democratic consent. It's like they choose what to listen to.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I wonder, does BIM hold elections as well, or
No, definitely
again,
not.
There's just such big holes in the film because he doesn't seem that powerful, and also he's also omnipotent. I'm having a meltdown just thinking about the film. We'd all recommend the Apple though, wouldn't we?
Oh yeah.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Do you reckon you could watch it alone? Or would you need other people to?
I think I think you need someone else.
Yeah.
Definitely. I feel the way of most So Bad It's Good films like that, where I think you need someone else to kind of feed off of.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I would 100% recommend the Apple.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's make Apple 2 Electric Boogaloo.